first question is about Haqdarshak's work. I mean, let's just brief about how Haqdarshak works and how it helps people in getting government schemes or benefits of it.
Sure. So we started this organization in 2016 with an idea that there is an evident gap in the availability of the information of government schemes as well as the accessibility of the same. Uh, so what we did is we created a database and a platform which host this information of government schemes. What we essentially did is we actually put it in a simple, lucid language which can be understood by Haqdarshaks which use our app. And we also try to gauge data points which are important for applying for the scheme, right? So how we work is first we built the database. That database is not static. We are still working on it as and when new schemes come, we keep adding and deleting the schemes. Once the database is ready, we get projects from partners asking us to help particular cohorts of the society um, or the areas in which partners want to make impact. So basis the design of the project, we appoint field entrepreneurs who in turn uses this app for dissemination of information as well as making applications to the departments. We train these entrepreneurs, we handhold these entrepreneurs. At times, we even, we are there on the field for implementation. So basically, creation of database, appointing the field agent, handholding the agent, and seeing to it that the application is made to the department and a proper follow-up is taken so that the application is converted into benefit received. So benefit received is the last stage.
Okay. Uh, when you mentioned about partners, so I'd like to know a few names of partners and specific cohorts that you have helped.
Sure. So we work with corporates like JSW, Tata Power, Tata Motors, Godrej, to mention few. We also work with philanthropies. Uh, we also work with individual donors. We have received certain grants to work on research-based projects. We work along with Dwara as well on a couple of research projects. Talking about the cohorts, we are working on number of target groups, starting with construction workers, women, children, uh, old age people, gig economy workers, and also micro entrepreneurs for that matter. Akash, can you hear me? I think your video is frozen, not sure. Uh, Hello? Akash, can you hear me?
Connected. Hello.
Yeah, yeah. Could you hear me?
Yes, yes.
You want me to repeat the answer?
The last two sentences. Start
Okay,
from the
so
last two sentences.
yeah. So talking about the cohorts, we worked with construction workers, gig economy workers, women and children specific projects, farmers, and also micro entrepreneurs. To my I would rather say nano entrepreneurs because the topic is also surrounding that. So rather than micro, we actually worked with nano enterprises so far.
Okay. So meanwhile, you have worked with different cohorts and different partners. So what were the basic misconceptions about government schemes? Because people certainly do have presumptions that though there are schemes, we might not get it, and then there are a number of presumptions that people have. So what were these, and what did you do to break that, belief?
As you rightly said, Akash, I think a most common perception is government scheme तो हमें नहीं मिलेगी. Okay, Okay, if it is sponsored by government, very difficult to get. Number one. Number two, even if we apply for a scheme, it will be stuck at the department level, at the at ministry level, and we will never see a benefit coming in. So that is the most common mm, uh, I think, impression on the minds of common citizens. How we try to tackle with it is mobilization, awareness sessions, distributing knowledge products, showcasing, right? Showcasing that this is how it is done, and here are few citizens like you who have received benefits. So people, when they see with their eyes, when they hear stories about people, they tend to believe, and we have seen change in mindset uh, in
Okay.
many of our projects.
So basically, your team created examples of successful
Right.
implementation or getting advantages of these benefits. So can you give me one or two such examples where it it seemed very difficult, or even today if I see it, it might feel that it is tough, but then you guys cracked it.
Yeah, I think there are many. Uh, to mention a few, we are working in Talasari in Maharashtra. It is almost 90% tribal block of district Palghar, where
Mm-hmm.
having a caste certificate was the uh, I mean prerequisite for applying for any scheme related to tribal department. When we entered into that location back in 2018, we noticed that almost no one have caste certificate. Almost no one. We were working
Okay.
with children back then, and it was rarest of the rare that they had a caste certificate. So we did a very proper licensing with government to
Mm-hmm.
conduct caste certificate camps. We make sure that the documentation is in place for these children, and we ended up, right now we have helped more than 6,000 students to get their caste certificates, and now
Great.
it is a norm in Talasari
Great.
that
So
I have.
basically, that one thing I'm sure this must have helped students get not just one scheme but more than many schemes,
Yeah, yeah,
benefits
yeah,
of many
yeah.
schemes. Okay. Yeah. So coming to our main topic of nano enterprises. So based on the kind of dynamic database as you mentioned, you have dynamic. It's not static database. So what were your findings about the challenges of nano enterprises in this section?
See, the most important challenge we see when we work or even approach nano enterprises is they don't recognize themselves as an enterprise. Okay, they either look at the business as a self-employment,
Mm-hmm.
a bigger version of self-employment, um, or something which is easily replaceable. If I get some other opportunity, I will leave this and I will rather opt for a 9 to 5 job, right?
Okay.
So that was one. Second, definitely, there is a lack of awareness about the compliances that they require, starting with Udyam registration, FSI registration, because we worked with very small enterprises, Shop Act licenses. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Having a knowledge of advantages of being compliant is
Mm-hmm.
missing. Number one. Number two is also avenues of getting these compliances. It is almost common that if I want to get a Udyam registration, I have
Mm-hmm.
to pay something to some agent, right?
Right.
So very common example is in Maharashtra. For Shop Act license, you have to pay rupees 24. 24 is the 23 point something rupees. 24 is the annual
Rupees
fees
24 is
of
the
shop act license. Pe-
official fees of the government.
yes, government fees is rupees
Okay.
24. People end up paying anything from 500 to 5,000 rupees to get a simple shop act license, which can
Mhm.
easily, can be applied online. And there are very little even cross checkpoints from government. It is more of a self declaration kind of
Mhm.
engagement. So, as I said, the fear of unknown is there, uh, and जैसे चल रहा है वैसे चलने दो, kind of an attitude we have seen.
Right.
Yeah,
Mhm. Okay. So, talking about compliance, so you just gave one example of shop act license that
yeah,
takes say 24 rupees, which is cost of a chai for
yeah,
for
right,
today.
correct.
So, even this is just small example, but let's take it ahead to next level, and then there are more compliances, and people
Correct,
are kind of afraid of documents, especially government documents. So
correct.
how do you create awareness among them? Because this issue of like formalization also, it comes
Hmm.
into play when you create a shop act, even shop act or any kind of document. Then formalization is just one part of it, but then the pain that the process has. So how did you enable or empower nano entrepreneurs to do that?
Sure. So we definitely rely on our field agents to do a lot of awareness of benefits of formalization. Number one, uh, as you rightly said, definitely people fear being formally recognized as an enterprise because
Hmm.
of many misconception कि income tax की query आ जाएगी, I don't know, police आ जाएंगे वसूली करने के लिए and all that stuff. But one thing is for sure, we don't directly go to an enterprise and say हम आज आपका उद्यम registration करेंगे. There is a process involved. We may meet them 5 times, 6 times. We tell them that if you get into a formal system, these are the advantages you will get. These are the schemes that
Hmm.
government of India, government of Maharashtra, government of Assam is offering.
Hmm.
And if you want to apply for this, you have to have these 5 things in place. And there is a proper process. We have to give show them a big picture, and that
Hmm.
is how we crack it. So the process is really slow. uh, yeah,
It's time consuming, and convincing them
right.
is just, I think it's a bigger task to convince them to do that than
Yeah,
doing it. So
yeah.
coming to this, so what are like general perks? Say for example, if we are talking of general nano enterprises,
Hmm.
what would be the perks for nano enterprise which is registered, uh, comparison with the one that is not registered? Just maybe two three brief points.
Sure. So see, for a bank, right, through which most of the government schemes are routed, which essentially deal with either credit or subsidy.
Mm-hmm.
Having a formal recognition is important. So
Okay.
imagine two kirana shops,
Hmm.
one registered on Udyam and another is not. If both of them make an application to bank asking for rupees 50,000 to expand or add new furniture to their shop, the one which is registered will definitely have a greater say and chances of the application being approved without any mortgage at times. Uh, so definitely for credit agencies, formalization, uh, it's something which builds trust, uh, as well as brings confidence uh, in the banker, uh, in terms of assurance of repayment. That if say two kirana shops having almost same turnover, one registered with Udyam, another not, approaches a bank, a banker will feel uh, more comfortable lending to the one who has Udyam registration than the one who has not. Um,
Mm-hmm.
if you think from a banker perspective, it is twofold, right? One is how serious the
Mm-hmm.
person is about the enterprise, right? Even
Okay.
registering it,
Mm-hmm.
establishes some credibility that okay, this fellow is serious
Mm-hmm.
and he or she really wants to expand the business. Number two, there is
Right.
an assurance of repayment because registration on Udyam actually is one step forward towards your entrepreneurial giving way to your
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurial uh, mindset. So yeah, so that is one advantage I see. Second, definitely, uh, government sends out a lot of emails, SMS information to someone who is registered
Mm-hmm.
with them about uh, new schemes uh, being announced, or any entrepreneur mela that is being conducted in the vicinity.
Mm-hmm.
So that is an added advantage I can think of right now.
Okay. So, in a larger context, how will this implementation of schemes or bridging gap? How do you think it will give the sustainable growth to the this largest subset of the MSME? Because this subset is very large in size. So, how
Right.
do you think it will give us sustainable economic growth per se when they get into Udyam registration or there are no, under any number of schemes?
uh, See, first of all, I would like to call out here that nano enterprises are in no way direct competition with large businesses. So if
Okay.
you're thinking that just by registering with Udyam or getting a FSI license will bring
Mhm.
them in direct competition with big businesses, I think we
No,
need to
not
recalibrate.
competition per se, but then like you gave an example of Kirana shop, which is
Hmm,
formalized,
hmm.
and then other shop which is not formalized. So then
Right,
the one that is registered, that officially comes into certain data sets of economy. So this
right.
gives you added advantage in terms of you know in terms of developmental indexes and all. So how this formalization or how these registrations and compliances will help in a larger context to the set of uh, entrepreneurs.
Right. So as I said, definitely opening up a wide range of credit sources for them for expansion of the business. Uh, even bringing them to the speed of newer practices of revenue management, uh, inventory management.
Mhm.
They can join the similar uh, groups in similar business in their district. There is a DIC district.
Mhm.
So every district has this center where all the entrepreneurs can meet and greet and have discussion about new government schemes. Every state also encourages entrepreneurial hubs at districts. So these formalization actually open up a lot of avenues for people to meet the like-minded
Mhm.
uh, entrepreneurs in the vicinity and also learn uh, comprehensively. uh, that is I think can be seen as a large big picture advantage of formalization. um,
Mhm.
Putting them directly uh, on a same table where even micro enterprises are, it's something which I am not in favor of, because the target group, the marketing strategies that these enterprises use
Mm-hmm.
are totally different. So bringing in the behavioral change in the mindset about business growth uh, is also something that we need to pay equal attention. Third is, I definitely see for women entrepreneurs, having a formalization is a game changer, because
Mm-hmm.
in our experience, we have always seen uh, nano enterprises run by women. Uh, there are both supply side and demand side issues
Mm-hmm.
in this case. Most of the time, the revenue management or the expansion of business, it's something which is looked after by their counterparts. Okay, they don't
Right.
uh, formally get involved into all those even discussions about it. All they contribute is their skill set.
Okay.
So being formally owner of the business may give a different kind of ownership to expansion ideas and the related stuff. So I think that can also be looked at as an advantage of formalization uh, when it
Okay.
comes to gender parity.
Okay. About gender parity, do you have any such example where the woman was part of the business but not involved on paper, and then after maybe registrations and all, so you might have some examples, or maybe certain
Yeah, so
specific examples.
I I can't think of a specific example, but we have seen cases where um, women run kirana shops,
Hmm.
those beauty parlors, for that
Hmm.
matter, have excellent customer base.
Hmm.
They have great potential to expand or add more products in their offerings, but women are
Hmm.
just not thinking about it. uh, they don't even know what is the turnover uh, of their business month on month, because ये तो वो
Hmm.
देखते हैं, हमें नहीं पता है ना. Even the
This attitude is there.
businesses, yeah, businesses, we have seen nano enterprises accept payments through UPI now, but
Hmm.
most of the times these UPI banks are linked to their
Counts.
counterparts, so they have no idea
Oh.
कितना पैसा आ रहा है, कितना जा रहा है. So we
Okay.
have seen cases, but I think that is also how, as a society, we are raised, uh, and things will take time to change.
Yes. And on a policy level, on a
Yeah.
government side, are there any added benefits for women entrepreneurs?
There are. So there are schemes specifically for women. There are schemes where if a woman is a majority stakeholder in a business, then there is a concession in electricity bill. We have seen
Oh.
schemes where if women is a priority stakeholder, then credit is given at a lesser interest rate by Government of India. There is a scheme by Government of India for this.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the NULM, National Urban Livelihood Mission, has a
Hmm.
special entrepreneurship development programs for women-led self-help groups. So there are
Hmm.
many schemes.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay. And going back to the previous discussion, you spoke about the centers, district centers where people can meet and greet. So
yeah,
I have one question about collaborations. So are
right.
there any sorts of collaborations happening? And if at all, is it helpful in collaborating with other nano entrepreneurs?
Sorry. So collaboration happening in the sense, I don't get the question.
Uh,
Right.
so you spoke about district centers where
Right.
people can meet different
Right.
entrepreneurs. So
Right.
are there any chances of collaborations between these entrepreneurs? which might help them grow their businesses or get into next level of business. So
So there
is
are
this
no.
happening?
Hmm.
Is it happening? I mean.
No, no. See, it is not happening naturally. We definitely
Hmm.
need some external impetus like Haqdarshak
Hmm.
or uh, organizations like you to
Hmm.
intervene, bridge the gap between
Hmm.
what government is offering and what kind of user base we have. Uh, so I don't see that happening organically,
Okay.
and that is where enterprises who are into creating awareness about compliances, helping enterprises plan their businesses better, play a vital role. They can become a platform to bridge this gap. uh, Government have certain programs. I mean, once in a year they organize certain melas and all, but I don't see that can be the uh, only touch point if we really want to look at how this can be instrumental in business growth.
Okay. So you mean having just one mela or something that will not help? There should be certain
Right,
kind of frequency
right,
to it, and then
right,
the formats of it. It's not
right,
just having mela. So
right.
coming to the research part again. So what do you think? You mentioned, let's see, like organizations like us, we need to work on certain fronts. So what are those fronts that you see where our inputs can help you in terms of implementation or even addressing different kinds of issues? What would be those?
See, one as I said is definitely there need to be a lot more research on women-led enterprises. What are the
Okay.
challenges they face on supply side and demand side? We
Mm-hmm.
have seen very few literature on this. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I think one more area that can be explored is availability of credit from both central and state government schemes
Okay.
and accessibility of it. So
Mm-hmm.
there is credit available. Is it
Mm-hmm.
accessible? So what are
Great.
the challenges in accessing the credit? So I think on that topic also I have seen very generic uh,
Studies.
generic studies. We have to go specific to geography, to sector, to see how
Hmm.
different sectors are taking up the credit facilities. um, that can be another that I can think of right now.
Yes, so I think we have two major research opportunities as I see from your answer.
Yeah,
One
yeah,
being women entrepreneurs and their challenges on all
yeah,
fronts in
yeah.
running any business. And second is credit availability and moreover the accessibility of it.
Correct,
So I
correct.
think we would sure give our 100% in creates specific studies which might help you, and together we can help maybe I don't know what is the number, but n number of entrepreneurs we will help in the long run.
Sure.
So it will be uh, so these kinds of collaborations are very much important and very much needed as I see it.
Right, right.
So we will surely look into it and let's see how it goes. So anything else? Maybe I must have missed something probably which you wanted to say, which were not part of set of answers or questions. So is there anything that you want to specifically mention since this will be going online on a YouTube and different platforms? Maybe a
I
message, maybe a small message you can just.
uh, I will just look at if we have missed any point. This is the questionnaire you shared.
Mhm.
I think there was one question around um, compliance mistakes.
Compliance mistakes, right?
Yeah. So if
The
I
common compliance mistakes and how
yeah,
that can be avoided.
yeah. So what we have seen, because we have worked largely in this space, and that is why I'm coming to compliances again and again. Uh, come see, people don't understand who require udyam, who require fasai, who require shop act, who requires GST registration. Okay, all
Mhm.
these things can be done online. Okay, sitting at
Correct.
your home, you don't need to meet any agent as well. You don't need Haqdarshak. Okay, there is everything available on government website. uh, but since we are still not at the stage where technology can work on its own, that is why Haqdarshak is here, which believes in
People
us.
are not empowered enough,
Yeah, so
I
we
think.
we need assisted technology. India needs assisted technology right now, right?
Correct.
uh, some common mistakes we have seen are with GST registration. So GST registration is required only if your turnover is more than 40 lakh. Okay, but
Hmm.
many times agents force nano enterprises to get GST compliant, right?
Hmm.
And
Mhm.
one of the disadvantage of getting GST registration is you have to file a quarterly report. And if you
Uh,
don't,
I guess
and if
monthly and quarterly, it has two
monthly and
options.
quarterly, yeah,
You
if
can
you
choose
don't,
one. You can choose
correct,
one.
correct. And if you don't, then you have to pay penalty.
Correct.
So that is one gross mistake I would recommend to be very mindful
The
about.
penalty goes on a per day basis, as
Per
I
day
know
it
it.
is rupees 20 per day. I will, I think that is the latest number
But
last
it's
time.
per day
Yeah,
basis, so it just piles up like anything.
it just piles up like anything. So it won't hamper you unless your business actually becomes eligible for GST, right? And then you will see
Hmm.
a pile of penalty that you have to first pay. So
Right.
don't get into GST registration if you don't need to, right? So
Right.
consult before you register. Second is we also have seen agent mafias, making small food businesses
Hmm.
to uh, get a FSI state license or FSI center license, which is not needed. You just need to register. You just need FSI registration if your
Hmm.
turnover is around 12 lakh, right?
Okay.
Even state license, it's something which is required only if your turnover is around, say, 12 crore.
Okay.
So being mindful of what you are getting into is very
Hmm.
important, because these compliances come with some price,
Right.
and it is not a one off kind of a thing. You have to comply with it every quarter, every year. You have to
Hmm.
submit some declarations. So yeah, I think those are some points that I wanted to bring to everyone's notice.
Okay. So basically, for any entrepreneur of any scale, it is important to know what is required and more what is not
Not
required also,
correct. Yeah,
because that is where maybe uh, in in search of like good schemes and this, you might just end up spending more money, which is
correct,
unnecessary for
correct,
that matter.
correct.
So yes, that's it. And maybe a message, like I said, you want to give to any.
Yeah. So yeah, I think as an organization, we believe that every citizen, every enterprise in this country should be linked with eligible government entitlements. So all the nano enterprises out there, please think about formalizing your enterprise. Please think about how you can expand this into a micro business entity, because you are the employment provider of this country. You actually are the ones who are paying, I would say 70-80% of the working population. So it is utmost important that you get into formalization. And for anything, for any assistance you need in that regard, we are always here. You can always reach out to Haqdarshak. You can always download our app and raise a query. uh, but as I said, the things are already simplified by government. uh, we are doing, we are just cog in the wheel. So yeah, I mean, all the best.